everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we're really excited today. We have a Hall star with us, one of the stars of the recent Hallmark film Game, Set, Love. And we're really excited to have Davida Williams on. And thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you guys for having me. This is so exciting.
Yes. So we like to learn a little bit about our guests from the first time you've been on. Tell us a little bit about how you got started. I know you worked as a child actor. And so how did that all happen?
Yeah. My dad's a musician. He was a guitar player. He played for Michael Jackson for about 30 years and
Oh, wow.
Madonna for 10 years. And I think my sister got the music gene. I have a little sister and I didn't, but I knew that I wanted to be in entertainment in some capacity. And I really liked acting. So my mom helped me get into acting and I started in like sitcoms. I did Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Hanging with Mr. Cooper and a lot of shows like that. And then, and some commercials and things. And then I think my first like substantial role was Claire in Lizzie McGuire on the Disney Channel. I was Hilary Duff's nemesis. So bully.
Uh-huh. So, yeah. So you went up to your parents and said, hey, this is something I want to do. And then they took you to the auditions and things like that.
Yeah. They facilitated it. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that must have been pretty exciting as a little kid to get to be on all these shows and everything.
It was really fun. Mm-hmm. I think I didn't realize when I was that young that it was different from what a lot of people were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because my parents made sure to keep me like pretty grounded and I was in normal school and all of that. So yeah, but it was fun. It was like I wasn't very good at sports. So it was like my after school activity, I guess.
So did they still make sure that you had the tutor on set and you had to do that and do school or some combination?
Yeah, you legally, I don't know what the law is now, but legally you had to do at least 3 hours a day of schoolwork. So they'd pull you up set. Even when I was doing Lizzie McGuire, high school age, you had to legally do 3 hours of school on set. And then, then I just, when I was done working, would go back to normal school.
Mm. Yeah. And you grew up in LA, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. That's cool.
I grew up in the Valley.
Yeah. I'm just heading that way. Actually, I'm going to Anaheim tomorrow.
Oh, fun. Yeah. What are you doing there?
I'm going to D23, the Disney Comic-Con basically that they do.
So. Be careful. We're having an insane heat wave right now. So just be careful.
I'm packing as like light of clothes as I possibly can. No jeans, no nothing like that.
Bring a swimsuit, something, because it is like, it's brutal. It's brutal.
Yeah. But hopefully it'll be, at least most of the con is inside, hopefully.
Oh, good.
So, but when I go to the park, it will be brutal. But it's still fun. So anyway, so how did you end up getting the role in Lizzie McGuire? How did that happen?
It was a full audition process. Yeah, I remember going to the studio. My mom was there because I was like 13 when I auditioned for it. And all the girls sitting in the waiting room and rehearsing. And then we did the audition and then they called me back and then I found out I booked it. And it was interesting because it wasn't out yet. So I didn't really realize how popular it was going to be. So that was really, it's another job kind of thing.
And did you know that it was going to be a longer recurring role when you auditioned, or did you think it was just going to be a couple and then expanded?
I think it did expand. Yeah. I think I went into it thinking it was an episode or two. And then I just, the dynamic between the character Kate and they liked. So we just kept doing it.
Did you always find it pretty natural to read lines and things like that, to memorize your lines?
Yeah. That's one of the easy parts about acting, I think, for me, is memorizing. I can kind of just look at things a couple times and then it's memorized. I think my mom would help me when I was younger, but the thing that really got me good at it was I did roll on As the World Turns, which was a soap opera that was canceled. For that show, you had to learn like 20 pages a day. So really, I was just like, it taught me how to learn stuff even quicker.
Mm-hmm. Now, I noticed that you have done some comedy and you've also done some thrillers and other things. Do you like having that variety?
I do.
Mhm.
I love comedy. I loved being able to do Game Set Love because there was some funny banter between Richard's character and I. But I do like doing both. My favorite genre to watch is horror. So yeah, I do like getting to do all sorts of things. But I do love being on comedy sets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fans of the hit family drama Heartland know that Up Faith and Family is the only place to stream seasons 1 through 15 of Heartland, including hours of behind the scenes exclusive content. All 15 seasons of Heartland are available and ready to binge only on Up Faith and Family. If you love dramatic shows full of action and suspense, try the 2 new series, Mystic and Hudson and Rex. Binge both shows anytime on Up Faith and Family. Watch new series and premiere feel-good films like Finding Love in San Antonio, which debut first on Up Faith and Family. Go to upfaithandfamily.com/hallmarkies today to sign up for your 14-day free trial. That's upfaithandfamily.com/hallmarkies to sign up. You get the role for Game Set Love. Did you audition for that or did they come to you?
They came to me and they wanted to know if I played tennis and they wanted to make sure I was athletic enough, and I guess decided I was. And then they flew me out a little bit early to put me, it filmed in Vancouver, and they flew me out a little bit early to put me in tennis lessons, and Richard as well. Most every weekend we were back with the instructor learning. So that was nice. I wanted to make, with Venus Williams producing, you want to make sure you don't embarrass yourself. So yeah, hopefully I didn't.
Yeah. Well, no, you didn't. I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was so much fun.
Thank you.
The whole dynamic of the bad boy of tennis and then your banter with him was so good. I loved it.
Thank you. He's so great. He was so good at that character. I know that, really Richard hasn't done a whole lot of rom-com stuff. Yeah. And so he was, a little bit apprehensive, and then he played that so well. And I'm so glad I got to work with him because he was hilarious.
Yeah. So had you played tennis before? Some, at least enough to kind of, and then you had the lessons?
Enough. Yeah, we had the lessons. Yeah, Rich and I talked about it. We played with friends but we weren't competitive, and my serve wasn't that great. So I really worked on my serve during practice. But yeah, I had played, just not at any kind of professional level.
Was that something that you ended up enjoying? Like you want to keep playing tennis for fun?
So much. Yeah. I really do want to start playing again for fun. It's 110 degrees here today, but as soon as it cools off, I definitely want to get back on the court, because it was just so fun. And even now to watch it and to see, I watched a bit of Venus and Serena during their final games, and that was just so cool to see. So yeah.
So did you have any kind of chemistry read with Richard?
No,
chemistry?
We didn't have any kind of chemistry read. We did a little bit of rehearsing, and we did the tennis together. We got to thankfully speak beforehand, talk beforehand. But no, we didn't.
Yeah. Well, it worked. I think whatever you did worked, because I thought you guys really good chemistry.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. We became, it wasn't hard because we became friends. I got really lucky with a co-star who was he didn't throw fits like the guy that he played. He was really easy to work with,
Yeah. But that had to be fun to throw the fits though, like for him to do that.
I'm sure I would always record them. I have I even have a video of me in the makeup chair, and you can't see him, but you can just hear him in the background, just ad lib, because he made up all of that stuff. He was
he did
making it. Yeah. And he was just making it up as he went. And I was just like, oh my God, he sounds nuts in a good way. It seems fun.
Yeah. Well, it had to have helped to have his sister be the director to allow that kind of flexibility and things.
True. Yeah, they worked
Yeah.
really well together. I think it was the first time they'd ever worked together in that capacity, where
Uh-huh.
they had acted together on the 100. But I don't think she'd ever directed him before.
Uh-huh.
And they worked together so nicely. And I'm so glad I got to work with Jessica. She was a phenomenal director, and she was really fun. And she'd, in between takes, she was playing music on set and the Spice Girls were going. And it was just like, she fostered such a nice environment and everyone got along, and it was great.
I love that Hallmark is supporting female directors so much, and now more than ever, I feel like, which is, I think, so cool.
I do too. When I first heard that a woman was directing this, I was like, yes, I love working with women. And she didn't disappoint. She was awesome.
Mm-hmm. So I really liked the relationship with your dad in the movie. I thought that was interesting because she is very worried about him leaving him alone.
Yeah.
And he has to kind of reassure her that he's okay. He'll be all right. But that was a good dynamic.
Yeah, I love that dynamic. Roger Cross is just a really good actor. I'd never worked with him before, but he's kind of one of those guys you're like, oh, he's in that. He works constantly, and he's just such a professional and so cool. And I did like that dynamic a lot. I think anyone can kind of understand that dynamic. I have a mom who lives across the country, and I'm constantly like, did you go to the doctor? Did you do this? And she's like, I'm fine. So yeah, it was nice.
Well, and I think especially it would be that way for an only child, would feel especially kind of protective.
Especially protective. Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. We'd like to take a second from this episode of the podcast to celebrate our sponsor of this episode, and that is the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast?
Do you want an inside scoop into what happens on the podcast?
Do you want early access to episodes and loads of cool perks?
Now is the time to become a patron of Hallmarkies podcast.
By becoming a patron, you get to access our patron Facebook group.
You can request episodes or even be a guest on the podcast.
And most importantly, any patron can join our monthly movie watch-alongs with stars like Paul Campbell, Natalie Hall, and more.
It's as low as $2 a month to join in and become a special part of the Hallmarkies family.
Please consider, and we will love you forever.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
Oh, I loved the scene where you both are dancing. They're playing our song. We get an early kiss for a Hallmark movie, and a pretty passionate kiss, I would say. And that scene was so good. Ugh.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. That was actually, Jessica was so funny during that scene, because she was like, the only scenes that I'm not really interested in are the ones where my little brother is making out with someone. And she's like, so she would like, as soon as we'd kiss, like, she'd be like, is it over? Is it over? And the producer had to tell her, and she'd turn back because yeah, she didn't want to watch it. But yeah, it was fun to do that scene. It was a good scene.
Yeah, because usually on Hallmark we get we just get one tiny little kiss at the end, and you not only had a really good kiss at the end, but then this one in the middle. So it was like, yes.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Did you have a different song playing when you were filming or any song at all when you were filming?
We didn't have any song at all. Yeah, no song at all. Just it was also like pouring rain, thunder, lightning outside. So it was,
really?
Yeah, kind of loud in there. So it's I mean, you couldn't tell, but yeah, you could only hear the rain pretty much. You had to just kind of pretend.
Yeah. So are you in general a rom-com fan? Do you like
I love rom-coms.
Yeah.
I always say, Hallmark does a great job, but we don't get a lot of in-theater rom-coms anymore. And I'm always like, we need to bring them back, like the days of all the Reese Witherspoon ones.
Yes.
And J-Lo did Made in Manhattan and Monster-in-Law, and just those 27 dresses. Was it 27 dresses?
Yeah, 27 dresses.
That was the era for me of just like such
Sandra
good
Bullock.
rom-com.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God, Sandra Bullock. I actually rewatched Miss Congeniality recently. So yeah, I miss all those. So that's why I love Hallmark.
Same.
You know, get to
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this year we're finally getting some back, and with Lost City and Marry Me and
yes,
like more, please. More.
Yeah, more. I watched both of those actually. Yeah, they're so fun. Like sometimes you need that escape and that lighthearted type of movie, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's no secret that Hollywood stopped making movies for women. And almost every movie was made for like boys 17 to 25 and for about a decade.
Yeah,
So.
it's true. There's a lot of, I love Tom Cruise, but I need my girl movies back.
Yes. I mean, that's what Hallmark was so brilliant to come in and realize this space there was a void, and
lacking.
they came
very
in.
smart.
So you said that you didn't have a chemistry read, but what was it like? What was it like getting ready and filming these scenes with the banter between you and Richard? How did you nail that? Because I thought you did.
Oh, thank you. I mean, Jessica was pretty open to us kind of ad-libbing, and we ad-libbed a lot. There was a time where we have a scene and he walks away and I just go, he is so annoying. And I made that up because he really was driving me nuts in that scene. Just, so we got to, he made up a lot of stuff as well.
Yeah.
And then I think really just the friends aspect in real life added to it. It was my birthday the other day. He texted me for my birthday, told me I needed a Letterboxd account so we can keep up with each other's movies. And so we're like real friends. So I think that helped with the back and forth.
Well, you can follow me on Letterboxd if you do get one.
I have like no followers. I just got one. So I have like 0 followers. So I have to find you.
Okay. That'd be good. So what was it like filming the final match, both the tennis parts and the banter and other parts?
Oh, that was probably the hardest, just because the location we were shooting at, we had to shoot after it closed. So we were shooting the final match all through the night from like 7 p.m. Yeah, 7 p.m. to like 7 a.m. So a lot of that final match of tennis, it was in the middle of the night. And I was so curious, like, I hope no one can tell I'm just tired right now. The last, I think, 4 days in a row of finishing the film were overnights. So,
oh my gosh,
So that's all in the middle of the night. But when I watched it, I was like, oh, we look great and we look alive. So yeah, I would say that those were probably the hardest scenes to film, but they were still so fun. I mean, I got to play a sport while I'm shooting. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how do they get it so that they get you getting just the right motion, I guess, and then the right ball movement and everything like that? How coordinating all of that must be tricky.
Yeah, we had our tennis coaches actually there. Okay. And they would tell us how we were doing. We would practice in between takes of like what was coming up next. We needed to serve in the next scene. We needed to do a forehand, backhand in the next scene. So he'd take us aside and we'd practice in between. And then sometimes if it was facing the other way and you saw like a cone get knocked down or something, they would just cut. And then our coach or someone who was better at tennis, I think it was Richard's, a guy named Ben, that came in to help us with tennis. I think he would do some of the like more accurate off camera things, but when you see us playing, it's us.
Yeah. So it said on IMDb that it was filmed in Atlanta. So that's not correct.
Oh, it takes place in Atlanta. So maybe that's, it's supposed to be Atlanta, but we did shoot in Vancouver.
Okay. Vancouver as Atlanta.
Yes.
I get that all the time.
Yeah.
And when did you guys shoot this?
This was the end of May to like
end
of June-ish.
Mm-hmm. And they let you know early, because sometimes they don't give. We were just talking to Sky Marshall, and she said that they called her and said that if she wanted the part, she had to be on a plane that night.
Oh, wow.
Can you
No,
imagine?
that wasn't my experience, especially I think because of the tennis.
Uh-huh.
I found out a couple, like maybe a week and a half before, 2 weeks. And then I was there like 4 or 5 days early. But yeah, no, I didn't. The night before, that would be, I don't know. I have to scramble to find someone to watch my dogs and stuff.
Yes. Yeah. So are they still doing, like, what's the current kind of quarantine or COVID kind of things that they have to do for a crowd scene like the final match? Is that tricky?
Well, it not really. I mean, they have COVID officers on set. That's what they're called. And a lot, the cast tests, and I'm not really sure if it's background test. I'm not sure how that works, but everyone has a mask on until they yell action, and then you take your mask off for like the scene, and then once they say cut, you put your mask back on. So it's very safe, you know. And that's what the COVID policy is. I think.
Yeah. So the final kiss in this movie was pretty good. It was good.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
That must have been one where Jessica was like,
yeah, another one where she was like, oh no. Another one, but yeah, no, it's funny. The kisses are funny because you have to do it so many times because they have to get it from all these different angles. So yeah, it's interesting. But
because sometimes they can be extremely chaste on Hallmark movies, not give you much of a good kiss.
Oh, so, really?
Yeah.
So we appreciated it. Dragged it out. That's so funny.
Yes,
oh my gosh. It's so
funny. So did you get a chance to talk to Venus at all? Get any inspiration from her?
I didn't. I was doing Wimbledon at the time when we were filming. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I understand. I understand. That's pretty important. But we did do a lot of tweeting to each other on the night of the premiere. And I was so excited about it. But yeah.
That's cool. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, really enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was romantic. I don't know. It was a really good Hallmark movie. So well done.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much.
He's Johnny.
And he's Darren.
Do you like movies?
Do you like your childhood?
Do you like movies from your childhood?
Do you like podcasts about movies from your childhood?
If you answered yes to one or all those questions, then you might enjoy NostalgiaCast. It's a podcast about movies from your childhood.
So if you're nostalgic for nostalgia, then you might like NostalgiaCast. See, that's the name of our podcast, NostalgiaCast.
Yeah, I think they got that.
Should we sign off?
Let's do it. I'm Johnny.
And he's Darren. And this is
NostalgiaCast. I win.
All right. Well, we have some fun, silly questions we like to end on. Cool. So first is, what is the best ice cream flavor?
Mint chocolate chip.
Yeah, that's a good one. What is your favorite color?
I don't know. Black, because I wear a lot of black clothing. I guess that's what I buy a lot.
Yeah. All right. Well, what music are you into?
I like all types of music. I'll put on like the pop station on iTunes radio, and they have pop and hip hop and everything really. And country. I used to be huge Dixie Chick fans. I like everything really. I come from a family of musicians, so there's everything.
You grew up in family of musicians, so you probably got exposed to a lot of different
types.
Yeah, that's cool. So what is your go-to date night food?
Sushi. I really like sushi, I guess. Yeah, I would say sushi.
Sushi is a good date night food because it's very dainty. Like, you're not going to get messy. You're not gonna get
spaghetti and all of that. Yeah, it's a good starter. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What is your go-to date night activity to go out and do something?
I don't know. I like
when it's not 110 degrees outside.
When it's not 110 degrees, I like going to try different restaurants. I'm a big like foodie, so just all different. And I live in a neighborhood in LA where there's just some really good restaurants all over the place. So I love trying new things. I would probably say just going to restaurants.
Yeah, I actually was just in LA in August, and I went to a ramen place in Burbank.
Yeah, I've probably been
so
there
good.
because
The food in LA is
so good. I used to live in Burbank, and there's a couple ramen places there that are so good. And ramen's like one of my top favorite foods. So
yeah. Oh, all right. Which do you like better, dogs or cats?
Dogs. I have 2 dogs. So
yeah. What kind of dogs do you have?
They're 2 Chihuahuas. They're old. One is 14 and one is 11.
Oh,
so they're up there. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Which do you like better, beaches or mountains?
Probably mountains, because I do a lot of hiking out here. More so than I go to the beach, I'd say.
Yeah. Okay. What's your favorite holiday to celebrate?
Christmas, I'd say.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. You get to see all the family, and you get to give gifts and get gifts, and just it's fun. It's always been fun in my family.
It's hard to beat.
Yeah,
Christmas. I mean, because Christmas is a whole season, where the others are just a day or maybe a week.
There's music, there's all sorts of things that correlate with Christmas. So yeah.
And on your IMDb, you have a Christmas movie listed for this year. I don't know if you can tell us anything about it, but
yeah, it's coming out in, I don't know when it's coming out yet, but it's called Screenshot to Santa, and
which is a great title.
I got to work with some really great actors. Tony Rock, who's a comedian, his brother's Chris Rock. Essence Atkins, who's been on TV.
Oh, I love her.
Yes, she's amazing. I was really excited to work with her because she's been on TV since I was very little. And yeah, it should really be fun. It's kind of like, it's a comedy, and it's kind of like Home Alone, but it's a little girl instead of a little boy. So it should be fun.
Okay.
I'm like the fun aunt in it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm excited about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
All right. What is your favorite Hallmark or romantic movie?
Hallmark. I think Made in Manhattan is my favorite romantic movie. I rewatched it again, and I was like, this still stands up. It's so good. Yeah, I would say
that might be my favorite J-Lo.
It's really good. It's
comedy.
Really good. Yeah.
You know, because she's like in Hustlers and things like that. But yeah, I think that one's probably her best. The Wedding Planner is fun. They have pretty good chemistry, but I have a hard time buying that Jennifer Lopez is sitting at home playing Scrabble.
Yeah.
But
you never know, maybe. But.
You never know. But very good. You answered all the questions.
So awesome. Thank you that was fun.
Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun getting to know you, and we hope we get to see you in lots more Hallmark movies. Yes, thank you. I'd love to work with Hallmark again. It was so fun, and just being able to work with everybody. And but thank you. Thank you for asking me. And do you have social media that you'd like to share? I do. It's at Davida B. Williams on Instagram and Twitter. Great. We'll have that all in the description, and y'all can follow Davida there. And you can follow me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. Check that out. Also, make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all over social media. And if you're listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. That helps us a lot. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our Patreon group and merch store. Take a look at that. Thanks so much again, Davida. We really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you later. Talk to you later. Nice meeting you.